Hey ladies. So yes, I am Heather O'Neill. I'm a certified nurse-midwife and I'm a lactation consultant in Morgantown, and I own my own business. I started my business because I think that women need to be seen for where they're at, not just funneled through a system. I wanted to spend more time with my patients and less time worrying about my billing. So it's a much more personal experience. I do have an exam table in my living room, so it's definitely alternative. And it's not for everybody, but for the people that it is for, it's been really, really wonderful. And it's actually allowed me to have some time to spend with people like you for these amazing events. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm really excited that everybody that's walked through this door tonight is in process in some way, shape, or form. Whether you're a sexual assault survivor, or you know somebody that is, or you have a family member that is greatly affected right now. I don't think people realize that sexual assault definitely affects every single person that you know, unfortunately. So I had kind of a bad day today. I spent most of my day in my bathrobe, like trying to Brene Brown myself and even showing up tonight. I am all of the things we previously discussed, and I'm also myself a sexual assault survivor. So, yes, I am trying really, really hard to meet myself where I'm at so I can be there for you as well. So bear with me as I come to my own conclusions here this evening. My story is a little bit different and a little bit the same. The only thing that differentiates me really is that I was raped by a stranger, and most of the time, about 70% of the time, it's somebody that you know. It's a family member, it's a friend, it's somebody that you have a really hard time telling on. My story was pretty standard. You know, spring break, West Palm Beach, Florida, with all your friends. Get drunk, get stolen from a bar by a stranger, end up getting raped. I lost my virginity to that rape. So unfortunately, I did not come forward because I was so embarrassed. I was so full of shame. So I think that's a common thread with all sexual assault survivors, is that they're full of shame. And if there's anything that I can do here tonight, is to just release you from that. I can't do that for you, but I want to encourage you to go on that path. You know, there's a lot of different paths you can take after you are sexually assaulted. There's a lot of different ways that people cope. And I had some not so good ways of coping, and then I had some very positive ways of coping. And when this happened to me, I mean, Facebook was a year old, and there were no smartphones, just to give you a little bit of context. Hey, help me. Is that better? Yes. Okay. Oh, Jesus is coming. All right. So, where was I? Raising all stuff. Okay. So, anyways, the positive things that came out of this for me 11 years, 12 years later, it's not my metal hip, is I started this business and I decided to incorporate a blog. And I wanted this to be free information for my patients to access whenever they wanted. I wanted to give people actionable things that they could do, things that didn't make them feel alone. And unfortunately, I couldn't sleep at night knowing that the one blog I needed to write was the one that I absolutely 1000% did not want to write. The one about my sexual assault that I had been burying down for years and years and years. And I so didn't want to do it that I hired someone to write it for me. Her name's April, she's great. I called her and I had to verbally tell her everything. And I said, I am trying to be brave and I really want people to feel like you're not alone, but this is the best that I can do. And I need you to write it for me, and I will edit it, and I will send it out. And she was lovely enough to do that for me, and she was that person on the other end of the phone who I'd actually never even met before, who was able to take my words and my experience and put it into a very professional, helpful way. So because of that blog, I am here tonight. I put it out there, I clicked post on social media, crossed my fingers, and hoped that my worst fears weren't realized and all the judgment didn't come down on me. And I got some really great responses. I got some really positive feedback. I think it really resonated with people. And I actually thought, whew, it's over. I did it. Now I'm just released from this burden. And then I got the call to speak at Take Back Today. And here we are again today. And I realized that I have all kinds of power with this microphone. I realized that I'm never going to move on. I'm just integrating this into my life. Every step that I've taken has led me to here. It's not what I chose, but it's something that deeply moves me, excites me at the idea that I can help somebody else. And I really do want to use it for good. So that's what I'm doing here tonight. And that's why I wanted to throw up all day, because I know what a big deal it is to you out there, whether you know it or not. Most of you do, I would say, statistically know what I'm talking about. That fear of not wanting to be exposed. So this one is for you. I'm dedicating this to all of you that are having that experience right now who walk through that door tonight. So thank you so much for showing up with me. That means a lot to me. So I want to start with a story. I posted that blog, and I had a lot of people that wanted to share their stories with me. And that was really wonderful, and I was very happy to hear them. And then one day, a man came up to me, and he wanted to tell me his story. And he said, "Hey, Heather, I read your blog." And I was like, "Oh, okay, 57-year-old man read my blog, all right." And he said, "You know, it was really hard for me to read." And my heart just sank. And I was like, "Don't say anything, Heather, just don't say anything. Just see what he's gonna say next." And I approached it with curiosity. And then he said, "You know, when I was in college, I had an ex-girlfriend. We had just broken up and she went away to school. And she called me after we had broken up and she said, 'I've been date raped.' And after reading your blog, I realized I don't think I had the right response. I really think I said the wrong thing. And my heart broke for him in a different way. I now kind of understood the other end of the spectrum that I had never even thought about before, to be honest. And that man was my dad. And he's here tonight, supporting me. And that conversation that we had together was a small window opening for us in our relationship, I felt. I don't know how he feels about that. Maybe we'll talk about it later. I'll put him on the thoughts. But he said a lot of things after that, talking about cases that were in the news, the Me Too movement. You know, there's a lot going on nationally, and that conversation that I was able to have with my dad that was 11 years coming was a microcosm of the bigger conversation that we're having today. And if you approach those conversations with curiosity instead of judgment, and empathy instead of judgment, we're gonna get somewhere. 1000%, we're gonna get somewhere. That missing link is your willingness to be uncomfortable in that conversation. And it is uncomfortable, it's very uncomfortable. I'm surprised there's so many people here tonight. I mean, hell yeah, look at this. So just understand that if you can stand in that moment with a person that doesn't fully grasp what you're going through, and you have curiosity about it, I really think that we're going to move forward in a very positive way. And I don't know everything about sexual assault. I really don't. I know what it's like to be a survivor. I know what it's like to be a victim in the victim mentality. I know what it's like to be a friend listening. I know what it's like to be a provider with a patient who's having a full panic attack about a pap smear. I know all of that, but I don't know everything. But I will tell you what I do know. I know it's not your fault. 1000% not your fault. Even if it happens twice to you, 3 times, 4 times, it's not your fault. if it happens in the same way, with the same person, that's not your fault. This is not a fool me once, shame on you situation. This is not your fault. I know that each time it happens, shame compounds. Your normal is changed. That bar for what you allow in your life is lowered. I know that your energy changes, and I know that to some extent, you do have a little bit of a target on your back. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it depends on how you cope with your trauma. I kind of went with the submersion technique. Do we know what that means? You can submerge yourself in the trauma in the same situation that you were in before to get over it. You're in a car accident, you get right back in the car. I went right out and had sex. Okay. What did that prove? I don't know. It was working for me at the time, I thought. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. It was just my process, and you have your own too. There's the withdrawing technique. I'm never having sex again. Well, that sucks. That sucks for your life. Nobody wants that. I know that if you don't get the response that you need when you tell somebody about your assault, it's not about you. It's about them. It's about them. It's about the fact that they haven't dealt with their own sexual assault. It's about the fact that their mom was sexually assaulted and it affected their relationship. It was about the fact that, it's inconveniencing them to bring up old memories. It's not about you, it's about them. That's not your person. Find a new person. Go talk to somebody else. I had to talk to maybe like 4 people, 5 people, 5 very traumatic experiences talking about my traumatic experience before I found somebody that was like, yep, I see you. Okay, let's fix this. And that includes healthcare providers. Really, really well-meaning healthcare providers can really fuck this up for you. Can I get an amen? Because you go in for your pap smear, you have a panic attack, and they're like, what's wrong with you? You need this screening, okay? You need this. That's not your provider. You put your clothes on and you leave. You understand me? Don't you dare ever compromise. Ever. I don't care what kind of name badge they have on. Ever. I know that sexual assault is as much a police-worthy issue as it is a healthcare provider issue. What do I mean by that? I mean that after my first sexual assault in West Palm Beach, Florida, where I had no smartphone and no resource and nowhere to go, I didn't even think about calling the police. In my heart of hearts, I truly did not think about calling the police at all. I thought, I am not in immediate danger. I am not in immediate danger. You call the policeman, it's an emergency. I did not understand that they have things in place that can help you. I didn't get it. I didn't know that. In fact, I didn't really know that until last night to the full extent, because I had a very lovely conversation I'll tell you about with a detective, Paisley, at the Morgantown Police Department, who processes all of the sex crimes in Mon County. Lovely man, love him. So, I do know also that sexual assault does not happen in a vacuum like you think it does. You're not alone. This affects more people than just you. And I can prove it. I know that it does because there's some very exciting news. Not for abusers, but for you. The sexual assault examination kits, they were in the news. I don't know if you've read anything about them, but the sexual assault examination kits are performed by specialized nurses that are highly trained to collect forensic evidence off your body. This, right here, is the crime scene. Understand that. When this happens to you, your body is the #1 crime scene. And it needs to be processed respectfully, intelligently, and fully. And it can be very invasive, and it can be very intimidating, but if you do this, and you file a police report, you have 2 years, 2 years to think about it before pressing charges if you want to, or you could choose not to. It's up to you.